This is a video guide on how to use the AlayaCare app for timekeeping. The first time you log in from the app, it will have you enter the company server name. This should be frr.alayacare.com, and capitalization does not matter. Then you'll enter in your login information that our office sent to you. First, it is very important in AlayaCare to understand the difference between your schedule and your actual worked sessions. You always need a shift on your schedule to clock into, but just scheduling a shift does not mean that you worked it or will get paid for it. The first screen we see on the app is the schedule for today. If this is your first time on the app, you won't see anything here. So we'll click the little plus icon in the top right corner to schedule a shift. Click on Client Name and select your client. Then you'll click on the next row down, Client Service, and select the service, which for standard hourly care will be OR 526 hourly attendant care. When you select this, it automatically fills in the next line, the service code, to match. Never change the service code, as that can cause issues in the system. Now we select the start time and end. The start time is automatically the current date and time, but that can be changed if you're just scheduling a future shift. Uncheck Use Service Duration, and it will let you change the end time and date as well. We recommend scheduling your shifts out a week or two in advance at a time. That way, when you open your app, your shift will already show on your schedule for the day, and all you have to do is click it to clock in. However, you can also schedule a shift right before you clock in when needed, like I'm doing now. Now that my start time and end time are complete, I'm going to click the Save button in the top right. Now I can see the shift on my schedule, and it's a light blue color, which means it has been scheduled. The time we see on this shift is not the time that I have worked. It's only showing me what I've put on my schedule. I can click on this shift to view the details and click the green Clock In button at the bottom when I'm ready to start the shift. And you can see it gives me a warning that I'm not in close proximity to the client, since this is just a test shift. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK to acknowledge that warning. And now you can see at the bottom, I'm clocked in and I can go work my full shift as normal. You can close the app and it will save that you're currently clocked in. Once I'm ready to clock out at the end of my shift, I'll come back to this screen. But before I can clock out, I need to fill out my progress note, which is done right through the app. If I try to clock out right now without completing my progress note form, it will prompt a warning. First, the location warning, and then the actual progress note warning. I cannot clock out without completing my progress note, so it does need to be done before you clock out for the end of your shift. If I click OK here, it'll take me right to the task. Or if I go back to that screen, you can also find it by clicking on Care and then on Service Tasks. Note that it is not under the Progress Note square, but it's a form under the Service Tasks square. And here we can see there's a care task that reminds me to complete the daily progress notes, and the form itself is right above that task where it says Client Progress Notes. I can click on this progress note and fill out the normal form, including checking what goals or needs I worked on during that shift, and then writing a description of the shift and how I worked on each of those goals/needs in that notes box. I can also work on this form throughout my shift. I can go in, add a few notes, and then click the X in the top left and say Save Draft. Now, if I do this, I can go back to it by clicking See Draft, and it pulls up that progress note I created. Once I'm ready to end my shift and submit my final progress note, I can click Submit in the top right there, and you can see the form is marked as completed. You'll also need to check off the care task below to note that you have completed the form. And now I can use the top left arrow to click back to the main screen where I can go ahead and clock out. Now if I click on that arrow in the top left one more time, it will return me to the schedule page, where I can see that the shift has turned a darker blue or teal color, which indicates that it's been completed. That just means that I've clocked in and clocked out for this shift. However, again, the time on that schedule shift does not mean that's the actual time I worked. The shift time that gets submitted to payroll is the actual time I clocked in and clocked out live, not the time I put on the schedule. And I can view this exact time by clicking the three little dots at the top right of the shift. This pulls up a menu where I can edit or cancel the schedule, not the actual shift, but at the bottom of this menu, I can see the session in parentheses. And that session is my actual working start and end time that will be submitted. I can click on the session to view all closed sessions, which will mean all shift sessions that I have completed today, but also in the past. These are the actual times that I worked and that go on payroll. So you can come here to view all of your submitted shifts. You cannot edit your session or actual work times. If you do need to make a change, for example, if you clocked in or out at the wrong time, you can leave a note on the shift, and that way your manager will see the note and adjust it for you. You can do this while you're clocked into a shift or at a later date, as long as the shift hasn't been approved yet. If you go to a shift on a past date and it's a dark green color, it means it has been approved to go on payroll. So you won't be able to leave a shift note and will need to instead text or email your support manager or our timesheets email directly for assistance. To go back to the main screen, I can again hit that arrow in the top left and I'm back to my schedule here. If it's a shift that hasn't been approved yet, I can click on it from the schedule page. On this current shift I want to make a change on, I'm going to click on the first box with the calendar icon. On the new page that it opens here, at the bottom, it says Visit Notes. I can click on Visit Notes, and here is where I could save a note. For example, forgot to clock in on time, correct clock in time should be 2 p.m. If you forgot to schedule a shift or clock in or out for it at all, you can create a shift for a past date and leave a note on that scheduled shift with the correct clock in and out times, and it will get flagged to be added. AlayaCare has some great additional features that you may see as you follow this process, including the ability to view client information, address, medications, and more. Right now, we're just getting started with the basic process of clocking in and out and doing progress notes, but we're excited to add additional features that will help us provide better service and make life easier for everyone. We'll share additional communication as we move forward. But in the meantime, if you do have any issues or questions on AlayaCare, please reach out to us for assistance.